Why some prisoners never want to leave prison. The man who wasn't happy to go home. The day everyone waits for had finally come, but not for Daniel. The prison doors opened early that morning. The air felt fresh, different, free. Other inmates were excited. Some were smiling. Some were talking fast. Some were counting the hours. But Daniel sat quietly on his bunk. He didn't smile. He didn't move much. He just stared at the floor. Daniel was 47 years old. He had spent 22 years in prison, more than half of his life. For many people, this day would feel like a dream. But for Daniel, it felt strange, almost uncomfortable. A guard walked past and stopped. "You're leaving today?" the guard said. Daniel nodded slowly. "I know." The guard waited for a second. "You should be happy," he added. Daniel looked up. He tried to smile, but it didn't feel real. "I guess," he said quietly. The guard walked away. Daniel looked around the room. Same walls, same beds, same people. This place had become normal to him. That was the first secret no one talks about. After a long time, prison can start to feel normal. Daniel stood up slowly. He folded his blanket, even though he didn't need it anymore. It was just a habit. Every morning for years, he did the same thing. Wake up, fold blanket, stand for count, eat, walk, sleep, same routine. Every day, that routine made life simple. No big choices, no surprises. Outside, life is not like that. Outside is full of choices, and sometimes too many choices can feel scary. Daniel walked toward the exit area, step by step, slow, very slow. Other inmates looked at him. "Lucky you," one said. "Don't come back," another joked. Daniel gave a small nod, but inside, he didn't feel lucky. He felt unsure. That was something guards don't explain. Freedom can feel heavy when you are not used to it. At the final door, an officer handed him a small bag, his old clothes. From 22 years ago, Daniel looked at them. They didn't feel like his anymore. They felt like someone else's life. He changed into them anyway. The shirt felt tight. The shoes felt strange. Everything felt wrong. Another officer gave him some papers. "Sign here," he said. Daniel signed. His hand moved slowly, like he was not sure what he was doing. Then it was time. The last door opened. Bright sunlight came in. Daniel stepped outside. He stopped. Right there. He didn't walk forward. Not yet. Cars passed by in the distance. People moved quickly. Everything looked fast. Too fast. Daniel took a deep breath. This was the world he once knew. But now, it felt new, almost like a different planet. That was the second secret. After many years in prison, the outside world feels unfamiliar. Daniel finally took a step, then another. Each step felt heavy, like he was leaving something behind. Not just a place, but a way of living, a system he understood, a place where he knew the rules. Inside prison, Daniel knew how to survive. He knew when to talk, when to stay quiet, where to sit, who to avoid. But outside, he didn't know anything anymore. That scared him, more than prison ever did. Later that day, Daniel sat on a bus, going to a city he hadn't seen in years. He looked out the window. Tall buildings, new signs, people with phones in their hands. Everything had changed, even small things. Machines, voices, the way people talked. Daniel felt lost, completely lost. A young man sat next to him, talking on his phone, laughing, moving fast. Daniel watched him, then looked down at his own hands. Rough, still, quiet. He felt old, even though he was not that old. That night, Daniel arrived at a small room, a halfway house, a place for people leaving prison. The room was quiet, too quiet. No noise, no voices, no metal doors, just silence. Daniel sat on the bed, soft pillow, but he didn't feel comfortable. He missed something strange. The noise, the routine, the feeling of knowing what comes next. He lay down, but he couldn't sleep. His mind was racing. What do I do tomorrow? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? So many questions, no clear answers. In prison, every day had a plan. Outside, nothing was clear. That night, Daniel sat up in the dark. He felt something he didn't expect. Not joy, not relief, but fear. Deep, quiet fear. And then a thought came into his mind. A thought he didn't want to have. But in prison, I knew how to live. He looked around the empty room, then back at the door. For the first time, Daniel understood something shocking. Some people don't miss prison because they love it. They miss it because they understand it. And right now, Daniel did not understand the world outside at all. He lay back down slowly, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence. And in that silence, he felt more alone than he ever did inside prison. This was only his first day out, and already he was not sure if he belonged out here. What Daniel didn't know yet was that many others felt the same way, and some of them would make a choice most people would never understand, a choice to go back. Too much freedom. The next morning, Daniel woke up early, very early, just like he did in prison. His eyes opened before the sun came up. For a moment, he forgot where he was. He looked around the room. No bars, no noise, no voices calling out, just quiet, too quiet. Daniel sat up slowly. His heart was beating a little faster. He felt something strange again. Not peace, not comfort, but pressure. Outside, everything was his choice now, and that felt heavy. In prison, his day was planned. Wake up, stand for count, eat when told, move when told, sleep when told. Simple, but now, no one told him what to do. He looked at the small table in his room. There was a paper on it, a schedule, job center, 10 a.m., meeting, 2 p.m. Daniel stared at it. It didn't feel like a plan. It felt like a suggestion. That made it harder. In prison, you don't think. You just follow. Outside, you must decide. Daniel stood up. He walked to the sink. He turned the water on, watched it flow. He stood there longer than needed, thinking, what should I do first? Even that simple question felt big. After some time, he got dressed, slowly, carefully, like everything mattered. When he stepped outside the building, the world felt loud. Cars moving fast, people talking, phones ringing. Too many sounds at once. Daniel stopped walking. He looked around. He didn't know where to go first. Left? Right? Straight? No signs told him. No guard pointed. No system guided him. That was another secret. Freedom gives you many paths, but no directions. Daniel started walking, slow steps, watching everything. A group of people passed him, laughing, talking. They didn't look at him. They didn't know him, and that made him feel invisible. In prison, people always noticed you. Here, no one did. That felt strange, almost lonely. After a while, Daniel reached a small store. He stood outside the door, looking in. So many choices, snacks, drinks, colors, brands. He felt confused. In prison, choices were simple, very limited. Now, there were too many. He walked inside slowly. He picked up a bottle of water, then put it back, then picked another one. He stood there for a long time, trying to decide. A woman behind him spoke. "Are you okay?" Daniel turned quickly. "Oh, yes," he said. But he wasn't. Not really. He grabbed the first bottle he saw and went to the counter. His hands felt tight, like he was doing something wrong. Even though he wasn't, that was another hidden feeling. After prison, normal things can feel difficult, very difficult. Later, Daniel found his way to the job center. He sat in a chair, waiting. People came and went. Some filled forms, some talked to staff. Daniel held a paper in his hand, but he didn't read it. His mind was somewhere else. What kind of job can I do? Who will hire me? Where do I even start? So many questions again. No clear answers. In prison, his role was clear. He knew his place, his position, his routine. Outside, he felt like nothing. No role, no place. That hurt him inside. When his name was called, he stood up slowly. He walked into a small office. A man smiled at him. "Let's talk about your future," the man said. Daniel nodded, but inside, he felt lost. The man asked questions. What skills do you have? What work did you do before? Daniel tried to answer, but it was hard. His past felt far away, like a different life. Then the man asked, what do you want to do now? Daniel paused. He didn't know. He truly didn't know. That question felt too big, too open. In prison, no one asks what you want. Outside, that question comes again and again, and if you don't have an answer, it can make you feel stuck. After the meeting, Daniel walked outside again. The sun was high now. The world kept moving, fast, busy, unstoppable, but Daniel felt slow, very slow, like he didn't belong in that speed. That afternoon, he returned to his room. He sat on the bed, quiet again. He looked at his hands, then at the wall, then at the door. Everything felt uncertain. In prison, he always knew what would happen next. Outside, every moment felt unknown. That night, Daniel tried to sleep again, but his mind kept thinking about choices, about the future, about failure. In prison, failure was simple. Break a rule, get punished, clear. Outside, failure was bigger. It could mean losing everything. That thought scared him a lot. He turned on his side, closed his eyes, then opened them again, still awake, still thinking. Then that same thought came back, the one he didn't want. In prison, I didn't have to think this much. He sat up, looked around. Silence again, heavy silence. And in that moment, Daniel realized something important. Freedom is not always easy. For some people, it can feel like a weight, a pressure, too many choices, too many unknowns, too many fears. And sometimes, people don't run from prison. They run from that feeling, that overwhelming feeling of too much freedom. Daniel lay back down slowly, staring at the ceiling again. Another long night, another day of confusion. And deep inside, a quiet thought was growing stronger, a thought he was not ready to accept yet. But it was there, waiting, and it would not go away. The world moved on. A few days passed. Daniel tried to follow the plan given to him. Wake up, go outside, look for work, come back, sleep, repeat. But something didn't feel right. Each day fell harder, not easier. On the fourth day, Daniel walked down a busy street. People moved quickly around him. Cars passed by. Horns sounded. Phones rang. Everything felt loud again. But this time, it also felt distant, like he was watching a movie, not living in it. Daniel stopped at a crossing. A light turned green. People started walking. But Daniel stood still for a second. He was unsure. Then someone behind him said, "Hey, go!" Daniel moved quickly. He crossed the street, but his heart was beating fast. That moment stayed with him. Even crossing the road felt different now. That was another secret. The world keeps moving, even when you are gone for many years. And when you come back, it does not slow down for you. Later that day, Daniel sat in a park, watching people, children running, friends laughing, workers eating lunch. Everything looked normal, simple, easy. But Daniel knew something they didn't. Life can change completely. And when it does, coming back is not always easy. A young boy ran past him, holding a phone, watching something on the screen. Daniel looked closely. He didn't understand it. So many things had changed. Technology, the way people talk, the way people live. In prison, time moves slowly. Outside, time moves fast, very fast. Daniel felt like he had missed everything. Years of change, years of progress, years of life. That feeling hurt him. Deep inside, he whispered to himself, "I don't belong here." That thought scared him, but it also felt true. Later, Daniel tried to use a phone. A simple task for most people. But for him, it was confusing. Buttons, apps, screens, too many options. He pressed the wrong thing. The screen changed. He didn't know how to go back. A young woman nearby noticed. "Need help?" she asked kindly. Daniel hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, please." She showed him quickly. "Tap here. Swipe there." Simple for her. But for Daniel, it felt like learning something new. like being a child again. That was another hidden truth. After many years in prison, you must relearn the world. And that is not easy. Daniel thanked her. She smiled and walked away. That small moment stayed with him. He felt behind, slow, out of place. That evening, Daniel returned to his room. Same quiet, same stillness. He sat down heavily. His body felt tired, but not from work, from thinking, from trying, from adjusting. He looked at the small window. The sky was turning dark. He remembered nights in prison. Noise, voices, movement. It was strange, but he missed it. At least there, he knew where he stood. He knew the system. He knew the rules. Outside, everything felt open, but also confusing. That night, Daniel turned on a small TV. Channels changed quickly. News, shows, voices. Too much information. Too fast. He turned it off. Silence again. He lay on the bed, looking at the ceiling. Same position as before. Same thoughts coming back. I don't understand this world anymore. He closed his eyes, but his mind stayed awake, thinking about the past. In prison, things were limited, but they were clear. Wake up, eat, move, sleep. No surprises, no confusion. Outside, everything required thinking, decisions, understanding, adapting. And Daniel felt tired of trying, very tired. Then something happened the next day, something small, but important. Daniel went back to the job center. He spoke to the same man again. The man smiled. Any progress? He asked. Daniel paused, then shook his head. No, not really. The man nodded. That's okay. It takes time. Daniel looked down. How much time? He asked quietly. The man didn't answer right away. That silence said a lot, because the truth was there was no clear answer, and that made Daniel feel worse. In prison, time had a number. Years, months, days. You knew when it would end. Outside, there was no countdown, no clear finish line. That uncertainty made everything harder. When Daniel left the building, he stopped outside. He looked at the road again. Cars moving, people rushing, life continuing. Without him, and in that moment, he felt something heavy in his chest. A deep feeling, not anger, not sadness, but disconnection. Like he was no longer part of this world. That feeling can be very powerful and very dangerous, because when a person feels like they don't belong, they start looking for a place where they do, even if that place is prison. That night, Daniel sat on his bed again. He didn't turn on the light. He stayed in the dark, thinking, remembering, comparing. Inside, outside. Inside felt controlled. Outside felt confusing. Inside felt known. Outside felt unknown. He whispered quietly, at least in there, I knew who I was. That sentence stayed in the air, heavy, real, and for the first time, Daniel didn't push the thought away. He accepted it. The world had moved on, and he was still trying to catch up, but deep inside, he was starting to wonder something dangerous. What if I never catch up? And if that was true, then where did he really belong? That question had no easy answer, but it was growing, stronger each day, and soon it would lead Daniel to a choice most people would never understand.